Hey, how you doing? Welcome to Pro Football Now for another week as we head into Week 7 in the NFL. I'm Ron Burke. Despite the Patriots' continued demolition of everything in their path, the NFL is going to be played out in its entirety. So we're back this week to look back at Week 6 and ahead to this weekend in the National Football League. And let me introduce you to our version of 3 the hard way. My left-hand man here in Philadelphia, Brian Baldinger. In the nation's capital is the doctor, Rick Doc Walker. And from Dallas, courtesy of BodogFootball.net, Hall of Famer to be Tim Brown. Now, guys, let's get started and talk about the team that looks like it is the dominant team by a long shot. It looks to me, Baldy, like what the Patriots did last week was really define the wide divide between the AFC and the NFC.
Well, I think what you saw was a team that faced the best opponent they've seen all year in Dallas on the road, and all it did was bring the very best out of them. We saw the Patriots at their best, score 48 points almost effortlessly. It looks like they could have scored more in that game. Brady threw 5 touchdowns. It could have been 6 or 7 or maybe 8. So that's what you want to see from a potential champion, from the best, is that the best brought the best out.
You know, frequently the NFL has been referred to as the no-fun league for celebratory reasons. But, hey, Tim, I look at this, and maybe it's no fun because the Patriots are taking all the mystery out of who's going to win this thing when all is said and done.
Well, you know, at this particular point, if they don't have any serious injuries, it's going to be very difficult for anyone to beat this team. I mean, when you look at what's happening with them and how they came down here to Dallas and just simply ran through the Dallas defense like they weren't even there, that's pretty impressive stuff. You know, at this time of the year where you can have a setback after winning 5 games in a row, they came down here and just sent a message to the league, hey, look, it doesn't matter where we play, how we do it, we're going to get it done.
Well, before we get to Doc, I want to look at the possibility here of 16-0 for the Patriots. We know teams have challenged that to a large degree in recent years, but nobody obviously has accomplished it. The Dolphins being 14-0, the one unbeaten team. But you look at what lies ahead here. They have the Dolphins. You figure that's a Patriots win. Redskins could be a tough one. That will be at Foxborough, though. They'll be at the Colts. That's highly anticipated. Then they get the bye, and you can see how it plays out here. As far as tough games go, the Steelers look to be a tough game. But who knows how these things are going to play out, and you have to wonder if down the road, as the Patriots, say, get to their 14th, 15th, 16th games, whether they'll rest players and how that will affect them. But, Doc, as far as dominant teams go, and we've seen teams in different eras, from your Skins to the Niners to the Cowboys to the Patriots. Yeah. We've seen these teams be those sort of dynasties or mini dynasties. How does this present-day New England team compare to some of those teams?
Well, they're nice. I mean, I really like them. But unlike college, and maybe I missed this, but there was no graduation. The Indianapolis Colts are the defending world champions. And until somebody knocks them off the perch, they're still the best team in football for my money. But I like New England a lot. They toss it around well. I think they have a lot of room for improvement. If they can run the ball and complement their passing, then they have a chance to be dominant. But that's yet to be seen.
Here's what you have to love, certainly if you're a Patriot supporter, and hate if you're a team that wants to beat the Patriots. It's Tom Brady's mental makeup. We know what he does on the field. He's been a steady leader for that team as well. And when you hear him make statements like the one we're about to hear, if you're an opponent of the Patriots, you know that you're going against a guy every week who is on point, who understands the game and understands what's at stake every week, every play.
It's really early in the season, and the reality is it's a win on the road, and we're 6-0, which, hey, I'm just happy as hell about that. But anytime we're winning, I'm doing just fine. And the season really doesn't start till after Thanksgiving anyway, so we're trying to win as many of these games as we can, establish some depth, and continue to get better each week.
Hey, Tim, when you hear a quarterback speak like that, I mean, as a teammate, I think you rally around that and you understand not only does he get it, but you want to get it right along with him.
Yeah, man, it's incredible to have a leader like that on your football team, whether it come from the quarterback position or any other position, someone who has been there, done that, and can get that to the new guys because, you know, Randy Moss hadn't been through this. Dante Stallworth and West, you know, those guys hadn't been through what's happening right now. So, you know, it's pretty interesting. I have to tell you guys a story real quick because every time I hear Tom Brady, I think of the fact of that snow game. And think about this. What happens to Tom Brady if that fumble goes for the Raiders? I mean, he's a totally different cat. Yeah. You know, he doesn't win that Super Bowl that year. He comes back the next year with the monkey on his back because he fumbled the ball the last game. But that just goes to show you when a guy takes advantage of an opportunity, good things can happen.
No, somebody's got to take that dagger out of your back there, Tim. It's still in there. I can still feel it.
No,
I mean, but everybody on that team, John Gruden still talks about that. He hates the officials to this day. It's true.
You know, when you look at what's at stake for the Patriots, obviously we can pontificate about how great they are. And I guess you could say it looks like the Cowboys are still the best team in the NFC, but who knows? That could play out either way. Their defense certainly has some question marks. But Patrick Creighton, at least in his mind, believes when all is said and done and this season is complete, Dallas, if New England's going to get to the Super Bowl, Dallas will be the team to get the rematch with the Patriots. Here's what Creighton said after Dallas was hammered by New England last week.
Well, I told my coach yesterday, we'll see them again. If they make it to Arizona, we will see them again. If they make it to Arizona, we will see them again. Seriously, I'm not backing down from that statement.
And I wonder if you're the Dallas Cowboys, whose offense certainly is impressive, good mobile quarterback, terrific weapons in the offensive game, they can run the ball, Baldy. But when I look at that defense, that's a Super Bowl defense. I have a hard time buying that here 7 weeks into the season.
Well, you know, here's the thing, is that unlike Tom Brady in his perspective on it, Patrick Creighton's is different. You know, one team wants to get there, hopes to get there, you know, has got to make brash statements to think the other team is on pace. Dallas is going to get tested. They've got 5 division games coming up here, you know, in the last 10 games. So they're going to get tested within their own division by teams, I think, that are only going to improve. The Giants, the Redskins, and the Eagles still have their best football to be played. So they're going to get a lot of chances to get to the Super Bowl, but they're going to get tested before they get there.
All right, let's switch gears now to a player that I know you love. You saw him last week. You'll see him again in a couple of weeks. Top rookie, maybe top running back, I mean, when all this is said and done statistically. And that's Adrian Peterson of the Vikings. What he has done to this offense already and really come onto the scene with a 200-plus yard rushing last week. Running backs, they say, is the easiest position to translate to the NFL. Why was he so good, or why has he been so good at a position where we see guys, you know, usually be pretty good?
About once every 10 or 20 years, you see a back or a player come into the league like this. When he came to college from Palestine, Texas, he dominated college football right away. Should have won the Heisman in 2004. The performance that he's made every single week, whether it's a 60-yard screen against Detroit, the 3 touchdowns last week against Chicago, a 55-yard run against Green Bay, nobody does this in the league. You don't see those kind of runs in the National Football League. There's too much speed on defense. Physically, he's just better than everybody else. And I said this before, but he's the best-looking rookie running back I've seen since Eric Dickerson. And Eric did the same thing when he came into the league.
Yeah, he could have a 2,000-yard season when all is said and done. Hey, Doc, you certainly understand the importance of leaning on a solid running game. And when you look at a Vikings team that came into the season, it seemed as though the main question, at least offensively, was about the quarterback. They still haven't resolved that particular issue. But when you have a running back, a known commodity that you can lean on, I guess it makes that transition to fixing your offense a lot easier.
But it helps your quarterbacks mature. If they can get a substantial passing game to complement him, he has a chance to be great. What happened to the collarbone issue throughout the Senior Bowl and all the things people worried about? There's some people should lose their job over that young man slipping.
Yeah.
Tim, Adrian Peterson, I mean, when you look at a full offense, you being a receiver could benefit as well. When you have that top-flight running back who comes on and looks like he can be a dominant player, how much do you expect it will help that Minnesota offense find its way? An offense that, quite frankly, we certainly here in Philadelphia, seeing Brad Childress be the Eagles' offensive coordinator for so many years, figured would be a pass-first offense. Do you rethink how you're going to approach offense in Minnesota now?
Oh, yeah, you definitely have to rethink it for sure, you know. And this is a very big week for Minnesota, you know, coming down here to Dallas. They have to find a way to win this game. And if they can do that after what they did to Chicago, and they can have a good offensive performance by Peterson again, and you know, the quarterback Jackson has to come up with some kind of plays to make this thing happen. I think this is going to be a team the NFC is going to have to watch out for, because this is a week, though. I mean, after that big week last week by Adrian Peterson, he has to come back and be able to do something this week, and they can find a way to do that down here in Dallas. It's going to be very interesting to see this team play the rest of the year.
Another big matchup for the Dallas Cowboys defense. With that, we say thanks and so long to Tim Brown. If you'd like Tim's analysis and his take on different things related to pro football, check him out at bodogfootball.net. Tim, we'll see you back here next week.
Thank you, Bev.
We now take our first time out of the show. But when Pro Football Now comes